This is a journey.
Now I've gone all around the edge of this with some scrim. These ceilings, I think they're just boarded and artexed, and I noticed there was a few little edges that didn't look great, and some of that paper that they use was sort of felt like it wanted to tug away a bit, so I don't know how well bedded on that was. You got to remember that these places were just probably chucked up with a bloke or two, chucking the Artex on and walking out to the next one all on price, so they're not really the best. So I thought it was just a good idea to go all around the edge with some scrim, because sometimes this is where you will see a crack line running, just like there, look. So just thought I'd do the decent thing and scrim it all around the edge, whether it needed it or not. The last thing you want is that to start appearing 2 months down the line, once they're all decorated, and you get the phone call saying, a few cracks here.
And now for a musical demonstration of stereophonic separation.
Music. Attention.
This is a test.
Hey, let's sit down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sit down.
Mr. Ho, please teach us some new techniques of the competition.
But your own teacher might object.
No, he won't. As long as it helps us to win. I'm sure he wouldn't mind what you taught us.
All right. I'll teach you.
Okay, let's begin.
Hey, come here. Now get this. He's heard the teacher tell him. He said to him, never use the death kick or the killing spear techniques. He just said that those styles were illegal and deadly.
Let's do it!
My arrival was unfortunately mistimed. Any delay can prove fatal, not only to me, my mission, many innocent people. It is now necessary that I have assistance. Dr. Mason, you are about to participate in a demonstration of perfected radio telepathy.
just waiting to sort of give this a bit of a polish up now. Now you've probably noticed, any eagle-eyed plasterers out there, that I laid on the second coat and smoothed off the first coat with the Rafina Plasiflex. Reason for that is I put it on with a solid trowel, but I know that this ceiling, there's a little bit of a belly in it there, and it's only a small room, so I'm not bothered about getting the ceiling dead flat. That's not really my point of me being here today. Is to cover up the Artex and make the ceiling smooth. And with the Rafina, you can get on things earlier and it will flatten a lot easier because of the edges of them Rafina trowels are obviously plastic. They don't cut in like the metal does. And although some say that means they might undulate a bit because they're riding the ceiling, if you use them at a sort of correct sort of pressure, you can feel it. You can feel when you're getting straight. And like I say, if this isn't dead flat, it's not going to matter. It's only a small room. You're not going to get loads of meterage of light casting across it. So in these situations, I think the little Rafinas are great, really. It's got me there a lot quicker. I put the second coat straight on from the bucket, give it a couple of trowels up, and that's covered up that Artex nice, actually. Now, if I'd been using a solid trowel, it would have probably tried to cut into any undulation. It would have kept creating lines. The Rafina doesn't do that, it just smooths out. So like I say, if there is a slight bit of that going on, it's not going to show in here. It's just a little spare bedroom. You know, I wouldn't probably do that on a great big lounge or a great big bedroom. You'd want it a little bit more flatter. But in these little rooms, have a go with a Rafina Plasiflex. If you've never used them, as soon as you start using them, you'll go, my God, this is, you know, it's taking the lines out instantly. And that's why they're great. I mean, Rafina is a good make. It's not sort of some noddy make. They've been around for years, and I'm sure they know what they're doing more than I do. I just like the products. I will be doing the final polish with the Nella Semiflex, I think it is. Oh, lovely. That's a trowel and a half, that is. It's absolutely beautiful. I haven't tried the Rafina Flex yet. I did order one a while ago, and when it turned up, it was all bent and buckled, so it went in the bin. Actually, no, I was on a job, then I ordered another one, that turned up on the job. Someone else nicked it. So I just stick with a Nella. Always a good idea to get them up just before you're finishing, just in case there is any little bits. You don't want to get your ceiling all looking lovely and then you screw that up and you find you've got about 2 or 3 mil gap around the light road. So yeah, sort of half hour before you finish in the ceiling, just screw it up, make sure, just avoid any mistakes like that. And I talk from experience, believe me. So there we go, that's probably going to have 1, possibly 2 more polishes, and then that'll be done then. And it could clear up, and then I've got some bits to do elsewhere around the house, so I won't show you me finally polishing that up. I'll just show you it after. All done. Another one out of the way, and I would imagine it'll be me back to paint this room, so stick with me for part 2 on that one. Well, the customers asked me to tidy up this wall because we're going to have it papered, and there was about 3 or 4 patches to repair. So you got this great big deep, God knows what they did here with some sort of conduit. They've moved plug socket there, moved the plug socket there. So I said to them, do you know what, instead of me just patching up, let me just skim the whole wall. Then you get a much better job once your wallpaper's on it. I'd booked it in for 2 days work anyway, the job, so I didn't charge them any more. I just said, look, I'll just do it. It's much easier for me. Same with this bit of wall as well. Instead of just placing that socket back in, I said I'll just skim the whole area. Using the good stuff here, look, proper scrim. I got given a couple of boxes of this a few years ago, and it's great. It's so much better than that cheap crap. There was a few cracks in the joins in the board on this wall. I think it's all dot and dabbed onto block work, I would imagine. So I just scrimmed it all up and then painted it over PVA over the scrim. So that's ready for the morning, just for another quick PVA, and then I can tuck into that wall, get that one done. And then them other little bits and pieces, I should have quite a nice little day tomorrow. Looking forward to an easy Friday. I was thinking about the Artex, scraping the Artex down. And I used to work on a firm, and we used to do a lot of insurance work for like Norwich Union and Aviva, or if they might be the same thing now. And when we used to take a sample of Artex, you had to put it in a bag and then double bag it. Then it needs to be sent off to a lab to be tested for asbestos. And obviously, if it came back positive for asbestos, we wouldn't take the ceiling down. They would get another firm in all the white coats and that, you know, all the gear. And they would come in and take the ceiling down, and then we would go back and put it up. But they'd always leave so much crap on the joists, you know. It just does make you wonder about this asbestos in Artex, you know, how much of a risk it really is, or is it just a massive money spinner? Because surely if Artex was that bad, they would have had to hoover all the joists and everything, but they didn't. There was all bits in the corner still where they hadn't took the ceiling down right, so we'd have to take it down. And the funny thing is, was working on the firm then, so you'd be doing that all week, and then you do your private job at the weekend, and you just rip the ceiling down, because you obviously wouldn't go to that much trouble. But it seems to be quite prominent in customers' minds now. They know that this stuff has potentially got asbestos in it, and you know, I've had customers before, whatever you do, don't scrape the Artex. I want you to plaster it, but I do not want you to scrape it. You say, okay. And as soon as they go out, you scrape it, because you're not going to plaster over great big fucking great big stipples, are you? You know, you've got to give yourself some sort of chance, if they don't want it overboarded. So I was just, you know, I've been doing this for, God, coming up to 40 years now, plastering. So I've ripped down so many ceilings in my past, and other people I know of the similar age have, and none of us have got any issues with breathing. It's not like the old plumbers that used to rip out the blue asbestos, and you know, they would get emphysema as they get older and stuff like that. But plasterers, I don't know a single plasterer that's had any ill effects from asbestos, from ceilings anyway. So it does make you wonder if it's just a big old money spinner. But the firm we used to work on, doing all that work, it was quite a funny firm. It was, I think it was like a nationwide sort of firm. So they needed blokes all the time. So they take blokes on that really weren't fit for purpose, really. I mean, I've seen some dodgy plasterers, and most of them were on that firm, to be honest. I mean, one bloke did he did a tiling job in a kitchen, and because I was alright, I was quite handy, I was sensible. When I'm working, I'm sensible, not always. The surveyors would sometimes get me in to look and see, do you think that's reasonable? If the customer had complained about it, a lot of these surveyors were just office bods. They didn't really know what they were looking at, so they'd say, will you come in and sort of back me up on this? And there was this tiling job, and the woman had complained. And this was all private houses, you know, it was all insurance work. And I looked at this tiling, and I'd never seen nothing like it. And the woman said he was using pasta for spacers, which is quite a normal thing, really. You know, instead of just using them white pegs for tile spacers, you can just buy a pasta and just break that up and use that as spacers. It works well. But this was so bad, and the surveyor's looking at me for backup, you know. And I said to the woman, did he use pasta twists? Because it was terrible. I'd never seen anything like it. And the surveyor said to me, what do you think? And I said, look, in my opinion, it's all got to come off again. He should never have touched it. And you feel like a bit of a you know, a grass saying that, but this poor woman, it was a nice house as well, you know, it was a nice part of North London, and I just thought, no, she deserves what she's paying her insurance for. You know, they can, the firm I was working for, I'm sure they can swallow another few days' work. But it was funny. I mean, this particular bloke that done the tiling, I won't say his name, but he had the same name as the first name. He was from, well, he was a Londoner, but originally his family were from somewhere out, maybe Greece or Turkey or somewhere. And I don't know a lot about this sort of stuff, but maybe it's commonplace to have the first name as the second name. So I won't say his name, just in case anyone ever finds, you know, he watches it. I wouldn't want to upset him. But let's just say his name was Gollum, right? It wasn't, but we used to sing the song, you know, like the old New York, New York, so good they named it twice. We used to say, Gollum, Gollum, so bad they named him twice. And that used to make me laugh. Now that's just a really funny story. It's just the tip of the iceberg in a suitcase full of funny stories that I could just pluck out of my head willy-nilly and just entertain the troops on the way home. And that's certainly something that I shall be thinking of in the future. You know, maybe I'll come up with some funny story. We can all have a laugh, enjoy the moment, enjoy the bands. See you soon, guys.